It's Ashley, your Southern Lesbian. Welcome back. It is really nice to have you here. I really appreciate y'all being here every week, listening to me rant. Hopefully participating with my rants. I like hearing what y'all have to say about things. You know that saying, you attract with where you are, or you attract what you are? Well, I would like to talk about this week how to get more of what we actually want in love by the way we tune ourselves energetically. Yes, I know, y'all are aware of that now, but I think it's in right now. I'm fashionable, right? So the idea being that we are going to become this energetically so that we attract more of this rather than chasing it. So if you've been feeling like lately that love's just not finding you, that it's just not showing up in your neck of the woods, maybe it's time to look for where it already is. So how do we recognize the love that's around us? How do we get present to that? And how do I expand that? For me, it's gratitude. It's always gratitude, y'all. Thank you, universe, God, higher self, whatever you, Mother Earth, whatever you believe in, for my healthy mind, body, and spirit. Thank you for the fact that I have a roof over my head. Thank you for my beautiful home. I have a tiny little flat here in London, y'all, but I feel like I'm living in luxury right now, I swear, because who gets to live in London just because they want to? Well, I feel very lucky. Thank you for my bed. Do y'all know how many people in the world don't have a bed? Like a real bed? Thank you for my health. Thank you for the friends that I have in my life who will send me, a little loving text. Thank you for the barista who takes a moment to smile at me and say something kind in the morning. Thank you for that stranger that held the door open for me this morning when my hands were full. You get where I'm going with that. It could even be just somebody on social media. I have those friends that sometimes that's the only place we ever communicate, and all we ever do to communicate is send each other stupid videos back and forth. But that is an energetic exchange, and that is someone who wants to make me smile and who I want to make smile. So I really do think that gratitude is a frequency, y'all, and the more you acknowledge it, the more you receive. So when I first stopped and took stock of all these ways, like the things I just mentioned to y'all, all the ways that love was showing up for me that I wasn't already being grateful for, that I wasn't already attuned to, it got a little bit overwhelming for me. I'm not gonna lie. I cried a little bit when I first realized how held, how supported, how loved, the fact that I have a family that cares about me, even if it's only a few family members. If there is a friend that will text you and check on you every once in a while. Like y'all know the movie The Color Purple, there's that line in it that's, I might butcher it, but I'm going to try, where it says, it pisses God off if you walk by the color purple and you don't acknowledge it. It's something to that effect, right? And it's basically like, here the world is, and there's so much beauty around us and so many things that the universe, God, whatever you believe in, has done to make life interesting and cool and beautiful and loving for us, and we just walk by it like it's nothing. I think this is what that line in the movie was trying to say too, is that when you walk through your life not recognizing all the ways that love shows up for you and you treat it like it's nothing, I think that we block energetically the thing that's very much we're trying to bring in, that we want to show up for us. So when you do get that little text from your friend or call from somebody who's checking on you, or even if it's your dog, happy to see you, your cat, if you're a cat person, curled up in your lap purring, or the barista spelling your name right, I think you better say thank you, universe. I see what you did there. Send me more. We live in an energetic universe. We've talked about this, right? It's almost like we're these walking radios, like transmitter receivers. And I'm going to try my best to explain why this is so important for us. And we've talked about it a little bit before, but the energy that we put out can be felt. The energy that other people put out can be felt, right? You ever notice you walk into a room, maybe you've never been in the room before, or maybe it's a party you're going to or whatever, but something just feels off. Like you walk in and you're like, oh, this just doesn't feel like a space that I want to be in. And I'm not talking about because you're nervous to go talk to people. I'm just talking about the energy just feels off. Or, that friend that always has something negative to say about stuff. Or maybe you are excited about something that you're working on and building in your life, and you've got that one Debbie Downer who's always trying to play devil's advocate with you and look for all the ways that it can go wrong. That's an energetic exchange that affects you. So this is what I mean, y'all. If you've got people, if you're surrounding yourself with people who always say that life is hard, everything is hard, that never works out for me, or if you're that person, girl, you better work on changing that frequency, because it's a heaviness that you feel and that you start to carry when you're around those people, or you are that person. If someone's always complaining about people at work, or someone, their spouse, you don't need to be around that, and you certainly don't want to perpetuate that. So instead, let's focus on being that person who focuses on creative solutions, even if we can't see it. I see what you're doing right now, God. This looks hard, but I'm going to look for the creative solution. Instead of always pointing out what's wrong with things, let's start to look for what's right with things. Shit, my train's 10 minutes late, and now I'm going to be late for dinner. But on the flip side, I got to talk to this really cool person, then I learned XYZ in it. I mean, I've got so many stories like that where I thought that something was really going wrong, and I was like, what the heck? And then come to find out, you learn something. You learn another way to get there that you weren't aware of, or you end up talking to somebody really cool. Like, I got delayed one time, y'all, going to a wedding in Montana, I think it was. It was out there. But anyway, the flight, it was supposed to be a weekend destination, right? Well, the flight was not only delayed, but canceled for the night. So I had to spend the night in, I don't remember, somewhere in the middle of the country. And I was really upset about it. And I felt like, oh my God, I've let my dear friend down. I'm not going to be there for her wedding. I'm going to miss all of our friends that are going. This is horrible. I've already paid all this money to stay there for that night. And the airline put us up and did all the things that they do, but I was just not happy about it. Well, come to find out, I was wallowing in my sorrows and went downstairs to the hotel bar, because back then I drank, but I could go down there now, not drink, have a mocktail, and sit there and just chat with people. It was still sort of early in the evening, and it was just a weather thing. The weather was awful, and they couldn't fly, and I understood it. So, and at the bar, the guy that sat next to me was such a cool gay man who owned a vegan restaurant, big vegan restaurant in Los Angeles called Crossroads. His name was James. I still remember that conversation to this day, and how much I enjoyed talking to him, how much I learned. Did it make up for me missing my friend's wedding? Well, I don't know, because what would have happened if I did get on that flight in that weather? I do really believe that redirection is protection, rejection is protection, all of that stuff. So I try, y'all. I'm not always perfect at it, but I really do try to look for the good in those situations when they happen, because I've had so many opportunities show up for me when I've been cognizant of that. Besides, negative thinking is not how we came out of the womb. It is a habit that somewhere along the line, somebody, convinced you that this is how you need to approach life, probably back in childhood, or you weren't listened to, or whatever it is. And we know that it takes, 28 days to change a habit? We know that it's possible to change a habit, but you have to practice it. So creative solutions, creative solutions. So if you stay mindful of the station that you're tuning yourself to and that you're broadcasting, then you start to become aware of this stuff. And right now, listen, y'all, I know social media even, forget about turning on the news. I cannot handle the news right now. Social media in and of itself, and I follow a heck of a lot of positive channels and see a lot of beautiful positive things on social media, which is why I still go to it. But inevitably, we're in those times where we just went through, and I don't know by the time this comes out, I think hopefully there's ceasefire. As of right now, there's ceasefire in the Middle East, but my God, the images that slip through on the feed, even if you haven't set it up to be that way, it's like, you don't want to ignore what's happening on the world. You want to be aware. But you also, it's like, I was listening to Jay Shetty's podcast with Judd Apatow, and he mentioned something to the effect of Pearl Harbor back in the day. Think about, I wasn't around. Don't y'all stop with the jokes. I wasn't born yet. But when people experienced the atrocities of Pearl Harbor, think about how long and what a big deal that day was for people back then. We are going through like multiple Pearl Harbors in a single day. It's like the images you see. We're not meant to know what's happening in every corner of the world to this level. And I'm not saying don't have compassion and don't donate where you can if you feel like you can, or do the things that you can, but you got to protect your energy, because what you're taking in is also what you're transmitting. And I'll tell you right now, like I said before, it's the reason I don't watch violent shows. I don't want that to become my baseline norm. I don't want that in my energy field. I don't want to see more of it in my life. You know, we feel guilty, and each one of us has to decide, what is mine to carry? How much of this do I allow in? And back in the day, I used to show up for, and I still do, show up for every protest. I mean, I marched with, of course, all the gays for every gay marriage, gay rights, trans rights, Black Lives Matter for sure, women's rights, all of those. I was there, okay? I showed up for all of that stuff because that was something I felt like was easy for me to do and I could participate. Then I hit a point in life too where I also felt like I could start showing up differently, and that's where I started my first podcast with my then life coach called Life in the New Normal. But I want y'all to just be aware and really ask yourselves, like, what station am I tuned to today? What am I allowing in? I heard one of the intuitives that I follow recently say, if you're called to change, if you feel like you are one of those people who's like, well, I got to do something, I don't know what it is, but I just feel compelled to help. Of course, you know, because most of us do. Those of us with any decent bone in our body. And I heard her say something very interesting, which has changed the way I approach these things a little bit. And I wish I could remember which person said this. But she said there are two types of people who show up in the world, and there are those who are the sword and meant to be the sword, and there are those who are meant to be the lighthouse. Which one are you? And I went, I'm feeling more and more compelled to be the lighthouse and share what I know, offer help where I can with my words, donating to causes. But what I'm saying is, there are a lot of y'all out there who are sensitive beings like me. I'm really sensitive, despite the big mouth. But you have to protect your energy, especially if you are meant and called to be a lighthouse. And in that same interview with Judd Apatow, this resonated with me very much. He said that he cannot watch the news and still write comedy. And that makes sense, right? He's like, it physically affects me for days. I can't write comedy in a script if I'm watching horror on the news. And I'm, again, not saying turn a blind eye. I'm just saying filter. Be mindful of what you take in and start getting really clear on what is yours to carry. There are a lot of people in the world who are called to be a sword, and they do it really beautifully. And I like to support those people with my donations. But me personally, I feel more compelled at this point to be a lighthouse. But it's everybody's job to decide for themselves, like, how do you show up in the world? Do you do it physically with your body and put yourself in those spaces? Because that is one way to do it, and it is effective. Those numbers of people showing up are incredible. And if I feel like I can do so safely, I'm going to do it. But what gifts do you have? Do you have gifts of something that you can share with the world? Are you a musician? If you're a creative, my God, your gifts are needed right now. If you've got messages to share through your art, holy cow. I mean, these are the times when renaissances plural, because y'all know they just happen. But you know what I'm saying. It's like these dark times are when some of the most incredible art and inspiration shows up on the planet. If you're feeling called to put your art out into the world, please, God, don't hold back right now. Be the lighthouse. Just remember, you can't pour from an empty cup, right? You got to keep refilling your cup. You got to protect your peace and able to do your own act of service. So how does that relate to my lesbian love life, Ashley? Well, I'm going to tell you. I mean, we just talked about it, right? It's that which you allow in to your station is that which you are going to broadcast out. That which you allow into your energy field, you're in a sense saying, okay, I'm cool with this. Send me more of that. So if you're watching chaos all the time, you do the math. Who do you think is going to show up in your life? Even if it's just in your own head, if you're spending time ruminating about things that are unhealthy, ruminating about an ex-girlfriend, ruminating about the stuff you've seen on social media. I mean, what do you think's going to come back to you? The absolute best thing you can do, okay? Let's, social media aside and stuff that's going on in the world aside, I'm talking about in your own life now here. If there's someone that gets under your skin that you're around, the absolute best thing you can do for them is wish them well because of this very thing. Maybe it's even an ex, the best thing is to wish them well because you don't want that coming back on you. I don't want it coming back on me. Not to mention the fact that if you do ever want a healthy relationship with this person, it's not going to happen if she's angry or upset or pissed off, or you're angry or upset or pissed off. Like, if both parties of whoever this is are both healthy and healed, then maybe you can have a friendship with this person that's driving you crazy. It might be somebody in your family that absolutely makes you insane. And trust me, wish them well. Wish them well. Wish them healing so that they become awake to some of these things that they're doing that are hurtful. And if it is an ex, and this is really hard, and I just went through this, y'all, but accepting the truth of a situation will ground you. And the more you can be at peace with that, the more that stuff starts to fade away. And you just go, you know what? We deserve to be happy. Both of us deserve to be happy. Wish them well. And this comes back to what we talked about in the last episode, right? Because there again, if you're being respectful of yourself and others, that takes that pressure off of you walking into that lesbian bar that night and just worrying about meeting Princess Right. You can walk in then and just be happy with where the night carries you because you're just focused on having a good time. You've got your own back. You're not desperate for her to show up and behave a certain way. You want to take your time and make sure that who you're drawing into you energetically is also healthy, balanced, not thinking about their ex, not ruminating on them, not watching a lot of traumatic stuff and allowing that into their energy field so that they're acting in chaotic ways. You see what I'm saying? If you are behaving all these ways and you think you're going to attract Miss Healthy over here, it doesn't work that way because she's going to see through it. And she's going to say, you know what, I'm good. It's nice to meet you. So that's why again and again and again, I'm saying to us and myself, and this is, again, what I've been working on, that we have to be healthy energetically, in all the ways first, physically. If you want someone who's healthy physically, you got to be that first because like attracts like. And it sets us up for success because we're doing all the healthy things for ourselves already. So it takes the pressure off of someone else having to fill that cup, complete us, right? So again, because y'all know I love these, I got a journal prompt for you. Hang on. What kind of love does feel vivid, alive, and undeniable to you? Okay? And this comes from Magdalena McClellan, who goes by @mymetaphysical_maven, and I just love her. What kind of love does feel vivid, alive, and undeniable to you? And what energetic qualities describe it? Not physical traits, energetic traits. Think about that. Write those down. So, how does this feel in your body? What emotions do you want to feel daily with this person? Right? To be happy. What qualities do you want to mirror in your relationship? Write them down. There's something really fascinating that happens when you write these things down and look at them and see them on paper in black and white and they came out of you. It's like, whoa, all right. Keep it around so you can look at it every once in a while. It's just a really good reminder of, I took the time to think about this rather than just ruminate. These are the things that matter to me. Let's assume that the mutual attraction is already going to be there, okay? Just let's assume that. Really give yourself a minute to think about, what do you want? What do you want? Well, you want someone who's got a healthy monogamous commitment, maybe. You want someone that loves your silliness or that is silly like you. Maybe they need to, if you love cats, you want them to love your cats, of course. Stuff like that. Someone who shares your values, though, and someone who respects your values and your dreams. Very, very, very important. Someone who wants a similar life and wants to build a similar, like if you share what you think your, dream life is, hopefully they're going to be on a similar page or they can say, yeah, I can see myself doing that. So there, I say this to you again, do you want to date an alcoholic? If not, maybe it's time to clean up some of our own drinking habits. Do you want someone who's physically active and works out and has a nice little tight body? then maybe it's time for you to work out to the point where you have a nice body. Do you want someone who's kind? Then it's time for you to be kind to yourself is one of those, okay? If you stay attuned like this and you're aware of what you're putting out, what's coming back, and you sort of start to understand how to work with this energy, I do believe it can show up for you anywhere. In line at Trader Joe's, wherever you are, is fine. It could show up. It'll catch you off guard. So this week, practice being a lighthouse. Notice the color purple and thank the universe for what is already yours. Get clear on what you're energetically consuming and putting out, because then when she shows up, you're going to recognize her. How exciting for you. Once again, I want to thank y'all so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. And if you got something out of this, please give me a follow. Like it, share it. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your feedback on this. Let me know where you are, where you're listening from in the world. I love all of it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I just want to know that I'm not falling on deaf ears. And if it's resonating, let me know it resonates. If it doesn't, and I'm speaking out of my butt, well, you can say something, but I might delete you. No, I want to hear your stories. I want to hear your take on things because, again, otherwise it's just me talking into the void. Thank you so much. I'm wishing y'all the best week ever, and I will see you next time, okay? Bye, y'all. Just a reminder, y'all, I'm not a doctor. Everything I share here is for entertainment and encouragement, not medical advice. The views you hear are mine or my guests, not my sponsors. Any similarity to real people is purely coincidence.